We'll start with Gary.
Actually, that would be an interesting question to put out to the voters. That's part of our charter, and I'd put it out to the referendum of the voters if they want to add that to our charter. I don't have a set position on it. So.
Joe.
Yes, I'll answer the question. Yes, I do believe there should be term limits. And I think 2 4-year terms and or two 2-year terms is adequate. No more than 8 to 10 years, and that should do it.
Scott.
Keeps tricking me. I think he's going to go down the real low when he comes over here. No, I believe it should go on the ballot and let the residents decide. Because you know what? If I'm not doing a good job, don't vote for me. I believe I am doing a good job, and I want you to vote for me. That's what makes the difference. So I'd love to put it on the ballot. If you think it's better for us to have term limits, I'd be glad to have it on there, but I would vote no for that because I believe if we're doing our job, you will vote us in over and over. If we're not, you'll vote us out.
Steve.
Absolutely. How long can be up for debate. 2 terms for a 4-year commission, 2 or 3 for a mayor, but absolutely we need term limits. If we're going to be leaders, one of the things to do is to develop new leaders, and that's what term limits does. If you leave it up to the voters, they're just going to see the same names over and over again. They're going to be the familiar names, and people are going to wind up being reelected and just expect to be reelected. The idea is that term limits is going to help develop new leaders. That's the most important thing.
Ted.
We're a small community with a long history, or going back to the founding fathers of this city, they did not instill or put term limits in the charter. I think it would have to go to a charter, a referendum, because it is a change to the charter. When we change items in the charter, it generally has to go to referendum. I personally, there's pros and cons to term limits. The con is that you have a constant turnover and they're always running. And the pro would be, or actually I had it the other way around, the pro would be that there would be a lot of turnover. The con would be that you would have constantly training new people. But hopefully with our volunteerism, I would see a lot of volunteerism in this city and people coming up through the ranks. So it might work, term limits, but again, I would leave it to the voters.
Celeste.
I would support it if the residents chose to vote for that. You know, the state passed it, so the residents of the state already said they were favoring term limits. I mean, federally, we have people that are seated that have been there so long that they're, you know, very, very, very old, and they just keep holding on to the position. That's not such a good thing for their constituents either. I mean, when I served on city boards here, I served for no more than 6 years on any one board, and I just moved to another board. I just feel you get stagnant if you stay in one place and you stay there too long. But again, I would let the residents make the ultimate decision.
And Julie.
Yes, I am. When I'm elected, I propose an overhaul of all the ethics procedures for our city. Yes, I am in favor of term limits. That is part of what I'm proposing. I'm not sure of the number of terms, but I absolutely believe I'm in favor of it, and obviously would have to go to referendum.
Have you each answered this, and then the follow-up question that goes with it? Have you accepted any campaign contributions from vendors or contractors that do business with the city? And if so, how will you maintain your impartiality when reviewing, requests for proposals and conducting future business? Starting with Joe.
Yes, I have. And just like I take a donation from a resident or from a vendor, I make it very clear that my service is to the public, not to any one individual or any one entity. I have had the privilege of having support from many residents and many businesses in the past, and I voted against many residents and many businesses in the past. The main objective for me as an elected official is to do the right thing for the most people as many times as possible.
Gary.
Just want to echo the same as what Joe said. I've accepted contributions from residents and businesses, from other government officials. It's never influenced my vote. I've always voted in a way that was in the best interest of Wilton Manors, and it should never influence your vote. But the residents and businesses of the city feel that they want to support me. I definitely appreciate their support. I am very, very fortunate. As I indicated, I've actually raised over $10,000 from residents of this city, which I think is phenomenal that many people are supporting me for re-election. But it will not influence my vote. I will always support the residents of the city and do what's in the best interest of Wilton Manors.
Julie?
Yes, interestingly enough, 2 years ago, I was told anyway by the city clerk at that time that I was the only person who had run for office in Wilton Manors that had returned contributions. And I returned two years ago because I knew that both of those vendors would be coming before the city commission during the term that I had anticipated being elected. Currently, I have taken, yes, I have taken donations from vendors who do business with the city. I do not anticipate that any of those vendors will come before the commission during my term. If they do, I would certainly make that information available, both verbally at that time and online.
Steve?
Yes, I think probably everybody here has probably received campaign contributions. No, they would not sway my vote one way or the other. I ran 2 years ago. I actually received contributions from a vendor, despite the fact that I was on the public record as recommending that the city go out for an RFP for that process. So I think I can be totally fair. Thank you.
Ted?
Yes, I too have received contributions from businesses who do business with the city, but they can't buy my vote for $500 or $200. I look at every issue and balance the facts and try to make the best decision to benefit the most people.
Scott?
I'm exercising tonight anyway. Yes, I too have taken money from people who do business with the city. But again, like all of us have said, it's terrible to think that somebody for $100, $200 would sway their vote for something big or even small that goes on in this city. It's just ludicrous. If you do, you should not even be up at this table right here tonight. If you're going to be bought off for a $500 check, you should not even be up here. Thank you.
What process should be used to... Oh, I'm sorry. Did I apologize. Take an extra 5 seconds.
The answer again, like everybody else, is yes. And I can tell you the majority of my contributions have come from people just like you that are sitting in the room. They're from businesses that are in the city. They're from residents in the city. And my treasurer can tell you I received a donation from someone that was in coins. So to me, that meant more than anything to receive this contribution from this woman that came to my house with her daughter and handed me an envelope, and it rattled full of change. So thank you.
All right. Thank you for keeping me honest. We did that one already. What process should be used to select future vice mayors for the city, starting with Gary?
Well, I think it's in our charter. Again, I mean, we would need to change our charter if we were to change the process. The way it works is the first meeting after the new commission is sworn in, the commission selects the vice mayor, and it's never really been a problem. It typically, just as a matter of practice, it typically rotates to the, I think, longest serving person who hasn't held the position before. It's an honorary position. The vice mayor runs the meetings when the mayor is unable to be here, or the mayor is unable to be part of a meeting. But the process has not been a problem in the past. But if we're going to change it, we would have to come up with a way of changing it and putting it out for referendum to change our charter.
Joe?
Yeah. Well, I believe the vice mayor position is a very important position. If the mayor is no longer able to serve, that person's going to run, who's going to take that position. So I would like to look at not just seniority, but the person who's best qualified. And whether you look at the number of votes they got, or how available they are, how interested they are in taking over that leadership role, I think it should be a person who's ready to step in the shoes of the mayor, should they not be available. Thank you.
Ted?
Well, again, the city charter does have a provision for how we choose our vice mayor. It would require a charter change to change that. I think it's worked well in the past. We've never had any big disputes over it. It's a mostly ceremonial position, although the gavel gets passed to the vice mayor from time to time. but I see no reason to change it if it's not broken.
Scott?
I know who wrote this question, but I won't reveal his name. Oh, you know half of what it is now. It's worked fine in the past. I don't know why to change it unless the people decide that they don't like it that way. But it is important to have a good vice mayor. But hopefully, anyone who serves up here on the commission is worthy to be the vice mayor.
Steve?
I echo what Scott said. I think when you elect any of us, we are all capable of being vice mayor or mayor. There's really not that much of a difference. The vice mayor is mainly ceremonial, introduces guests, and takes over and runs the meeting. I've seen 3 or 4 mayoral changes in the years I've been very active, and I haven't seen a problem with the process. It seems fine to me.
Celeste, not forgetting you this time.
With the vice mayor in the past, I think it's always been the most senior person sitting on the commission. And pretty much I think that's what the residents expected to happen. But what happens if there isn't a most senior person on the commission? Then maybe it should be based on the number of votes that person just received. I mean, there should be some merit, some reason for why the person is vice mayor, not just at the whim of the votes, like the people that are appointed to boards and get special appointments to vacated seats. It should be a process.
Julie?
I am comfortable with the way the process is set forth in the ordinance, and I think we've seen it. It actually is voted on by the members of the commission at that time, and that person is authorized to serve through the term. It's been that way. I think, and if you've been to commission meetings, I haven't missed a commission meeting in 2 years, and every time I've been, there have been 2 times that the vice mayor has served. He's done an excellent job. And I think it's a reasonable and acceptable practice.